tubwire iby'igihugu cyanyu cyihaye nk'intego mu gihe kiyoboye akanama k'umutekano ka Loni ibyo mwifuza kugeraho. Ku birebana na Repubulika Iharanira Demokarasi ya Congo, ibyo dushyize imbere bishingiye ku nkingi ebyiri. Ya mbere ni amahoro n'umutekano, ya kabiri ni ugukemura no gukumira amakimbirane. Ku bijyanye n'amahoro n'umutekano, turashaka kugira uruhare mu ivugururwa ry'inzego rishinzwe amahoro n'umutekano ku rwego mpuzamahanga. Icyo ni kimwe. Ikindi tuvuga ni ubutabera. Tugomba no gutekereza ku butabera ubwabwo.
You have also to think about the justice itself. You don't just build peace.
Ntabwo kubaka amahoro byonyine bihagije. Hakenewe ubutabera kugira ngo amakimbirane yarangire burundu. Niyo mpamvu dushaka no kwita ku kibazo cyo kwita ubutabera bw'inzibacyuho.
So this is in one hand. And when it comes to conflict resolution, we want to deal with issues.
Kubirebana no gukemura amakimbirane, iyo ufite imitwe myinshi yitwaje intwaro ikorera mu gihugu, ni ngombwa gushyira imbaraga muri gahunda ya DDR.
But also we want to tackle the issue of
no gusubiza mu buzima busanzwe no kongera kwinjiza mu muryango abahoze ari abarwanyi. Ese naho makimbirane cyangwa ibibazo cy'umutekano muri Rwanda w'Afurika bikwiye guhabwa umwanya munini n'umuryango mpuzamahanga? Kandi Loni yakora iki kugira ngo ishyigikire ibisubizo biyobowe na Afurika? Si amakimbirane make ari muri Afurika, ari menshi cyane. Iyo urebye muri Central Africa cyangwa Afurika yo hagati, hari intambara muri Sudan, hari intambara muri Sudani y'Epfo, muri Repubulika ya Central Africa no muri Congo. Iyo urebye Afurika y'Uburengerazuba n'akarere ka Saheli, naho hari amakimbirane menshi. Aya makimbirane yose akwiye kwitabwaho n'umuryango mpuzamahanga. Igitekerezo cy'uko ibisubizo biyoborwa n'Abanyafurika ni cyiza, ariko cyakeneye inkunga y'umuryango mpuzamahanga.
When you look at the conflicts in Africa, South Sudan, Sudan, DRC, CAR, and the Sahel region, which conflict are we
solving? Twageze ku kanama k'umutekano yirebye amakimbirane muri Sudani y'Epfo, Sudani, Congo, Central Africa na Sahel. Nayo twakemuye kugeza ubu nta na rimwe. Turacyakomeza kuvuga rero no kuganira gusa. By'ukuri amakimbirane aruta kuri ibisubizo dukeneye. Mwaduha amakuru mashya ku cyorezo cya Ebola kiri mu gihugu cyanyu n'uburyo mufata ishami ry'umuryango w'abibumbye ryita ku buzima ku isi. Iki cyorezo cyose kirahari kandi si ubwa mbere kije muri Congo, ni ubwa 17 kibaye. Dufite ubunararibonye mu guhangana n'iki cyorezo. Icyo mbona nuko ku rwego mpuzamahanga hari gukabya mu buryo Ebola yo muri Congo ivugwa. Umuyobozi mukuru wa WHO Tedros yagiye Bunia, yarahuye n'abantu banduye Ebola. Dufite ubunararibonye bwo guhangana n'iki kibazo.
So we have experience to deal with this issue.
That's an interesting statement because
ibyo mvuze birashimishije kuko abantu bari hanze ndetse n'abanyekongo tutungurwa n'uburyo itangazamakuru mpuzamahanga rivuga Ebola muri Congo. Ibyo bavuga ntibihuye n'ibiri ku butaka, ukuri kutandukanye cyane. Numvise ko Ubushinwa bwohereje itsinda ry'abaganga gufasha. Yego, dufitanye ubufatanye bwiza n'Ubushinwa kuko mubizi ni umwe mu bafatanyabikorwa bacu bakomeye. Navuga byinshi ku mubano hagati wa Congo n'Ubushinwa. Umubano wa Congo n'Ubushinwa watangiye kuva ku mutegetsi bwa Mobutu. Mobutu yigeze gusura Ubushinwa igihe cya Mao Zedong, yari yakiyobora ibihugu. Sinibuka umwaka nyawo ariko ni kera cyane nkiri umwana.
And the ties has been built since that time until now. And we have a very good cooperation with China for the time being.
The DRC has long been a strong advocate for UN Security
DRC
Council
imaze
reform.
igihe
Reform is
ishyigikira
a
ivugururwa
word we've been
ry'akanama
hearing
k'umutekano
about
ka
a
Loni.
lot here at the
Irihe
United
shusho
Nations.
mwifuza ko ako kanama
What
kagira inyuma
would
y'iryo
a more
vugururwa?
representative council look like in your view?
We have the process,
Afurika
which is the
ifite
African
igitekerezo
concept of
kimwe ku ivugururwa
Security
ry'aka
Council
kanama
reform.
k'umutekano.
What we want is
Iyo
we want
dushaka
at least to correct
gukosora akarengane k'amateka,
at least two
turifuza nibura imyanya ibiri ihoraho ihagarariye Afurika ndetse hakiyongeraho n'indi myanya ibiri idahoraho kugira ngo habeho uburinganire. Ku birebana n'uburenganzira bwo gukoresha veto, niba buzagumaho, Afurika nayo igomba kubahwa. Icyo nicyo gitekerezo cyacu mu ivugururwa ry'akanama k'umutekano kandi ni ingenzi cyane. Nkabona gute se aho Afurika igeze ishyira mu bikorwa intego z'iterambere rirambye, kandi ni hehe hakenewe ibikorwa byinshi? Icy'ingenzi ni ugushyira mu bikorwa gahunda ya Afurika yitwa Agenda 2063. Turifuza ko iyo gahunda ishyirwa mu bikorwa kuko twagize gahunda nyinshi z'iterambere rirambye. Hari n'izindi gahunda twise silencing the guns. Twagombaga gucecekesha imbunda nk'uko nta mutekano n'ituze bishobora gutuma habaho iterambere. Ntibishoboka guteza imbere igihugu kiri mu ntambara cyangwa ibindi kandi cyugarijwe n'urugomo. Nk'ambasaderi uhagarariye igihugu cyawe ndetse akaba n'ijwi rya Afurika muri Loni, ni ubuhe butumwa mwifuza kugeza ku muryango mpuzamahanga ku hazaza h'Afurika n'uruhare rwayo mu miyoborere y'isi? Icyo twifuza ni uko Afurika iba yigenga by'ukuri. Twabonye ubwigenge bwa politike, ariko turacyakeneye ubwigenge mu bukungu. Abari inyuma y'intambara n'amakimbirane muri Afurika bagomba kubireka. Afurika ntiyemererwa gutekana no kwigenga, iziyubakira iterambere ryayo.
Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us.
Ambasaderi, murakoze cyane. Namwe murakoze.
Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
Talk to me about your country's priorities as you hold the presidency of the UN Security Council and what you're hoping to accomplish.
As far as DRC is concerned, our priority are built on two pillars. One being peace and security, and the other one being the conflict resolution and prevention. So on the piece of security, what we want to do is to make sure that questions like the reform of peace and security structure, we do contribute to that. This is in one hand. And we want also to deal with issue related to, when you talk about peace and justice, you have also to think about the justice itself. You don't just build peace, but you need justice to make sure that finally the conflict is resolved. That's why we want also to tackle the issue related to what we call transitional justice. So this is in one hand. And when it comes to conflict resolution, we want to deal with the issue of, when you have a lot of armed groups on the ground, you need to work on the DDR process. And we want to work on the DDR process as well. But also, we want to tackle the issue of, mineral resources.
Are there any security situations or conflicts on the African continent that deserve more international attention? And also, how can the UN better support African-led solutions?
It's not just one conflict in Africa. There's a lot. When you look at the Central African region, You have the Sudan, you have a conflict in South Sudan, you have a conflict in CAR, in DRC, and the Western Africa and the Sahel region, there's a lot of conflicts. All of them, those conflicts need the attention of international community. But the African-led solution is a good concept, but it still need the support of international community. We have come to the Security Council now 6 months. When you look at the conflicts in Africa, South Sudan, DRC, CAR, and the Sahel region, which conflict have we solved so far? Even not one. But we are still talking and talking. So definitely there's more conflict than solutions, and we need solutions.
Ambassador, if you can give us an update on the Ebola outbreak situation in your country and coordinating with the WHO, how that has gone.
This is not the first outbreak of Ebola in DRC. It's the 17th. So we have experience of dealing with these issues. What I say is that there's an exaggeration in the international realm where the way the Ebola situation is conducted. Tedros, the DG of WHO, was in Bunia. He even can with the people who has been healed from Ebola. So we have experience to deal with this issue.
That's an interesting statement because outside,
from outside, we Congolese, we are impressed to see the way the international media are talking about Ebola in Congo. It's not like that on the ground. It's totally different.
I understand China sent a medical team to help assist.
Yes, they did, because we have a good cooperation with China, as you know. Is one of our main partners.
Can you elaborate on DRC-China ties?
DRC-China ties last from Mobutu regime. Mobutu traveled in China. I don't know the year exactly, but Mao Zedong was leading China at that time. Long time ago, we were little kids. And so we came to know China for a long time. And the ties has been built since that time until now. And we have a very good cooperation with China for the time being.
The DRC has long been a strong advocate for UN Security Council reform. Reform is a word we've been hearing about a lot here at the United Nations. What would a more representative council look like in your view?
We have the Zeno process, which is the African concept of Security Council reform. What we want is, at least to correct injustice of history, at least 2 permanent members from African side, and also 2 more as non-permanent to make sure that there is a balance. This is what we want. As far as the veto is concerned, if veto remains, then we need to have veto as well. This is our concept of reform of Security Council, and it's very important. We need that.
Ambassador, how would you assess Africa's progress toward the Sustainable Development Goals, and where is the greatest need for action?
The greatest need for action is to make sure that we have a plan as Africa, what we call Agenda 2063. We want this agenda to be implemented because actually we have had a lot of concept of sustainable development. We had a couple of agendas. One of them being what we call silence the guns. We were supposed to silence the gun because actually, if there is no stability in Africa, there is no security, then we cannot talk about development. It's impossible. Yeah, you cannot develop a country where you are fighting and where there's a lot of war.
As an ambassador of your country and a representative here, a voice for Africa within the United Nations. What message would you like the international community to hear about the continent's future and role in global governance?
What we want is to make sure that Africa is really independent. We have a political independence, but we need economic independence as well. Those who are behind the wars and conflicts in Africa, they have to release Africa. Then Africa will build its own development.
Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Joe.